Welcome to Whispers in the Pines, where the trees hold secrets, and some stories refuse to stay buried. Case File 3. I stopped calling for help. After that night, I stopped calling the sheriff. Not because I wasn't scared, because I was. I was more terrified than I had ever been in my life, but I had finally realized something. Every time I called for help, whoever was watching me learned something new. They learned when the deputies arrived. They learned how long they stayed. They learned that when they were gone, I was alone again. The first few times the sheriff came out, he tried to help. He really did. He walked the property. He checked the windows. He searched the woods. But every single time he came back with the same answer: I don't know what to tell you. And honestly, I didn't blame him, because there was never enough evidence. No fingerprints, no footprints, no face, no name. Just enough to make me afraid, not enough to make anyone believe me. Eventually, people in town started looking at me differently. The same people who used to wave when I drove by started avoiding eye contact. At the diner, conversations would suddenly get quiet when I walked in. I heard someone say I was losing sleep over nothing. Nothing. That's what they called it. But they weren't the ones waking up to footsteps outside their bedroom. They weren't the ones finding things moved around their house. They weren't the ones wondering if they were ever truly alone. A few weeks later, I decided I was going to leave. I packed my car and told myself I wasn't coming back. I was halfway down my driveway when I noticed something hanging from my mailbox. A small envelope. My name was written on the front, not printed, handwritten. I almost threw it away, but something made me open it. Inside was a single piece of paper, 5 words. You always come back home. I dropped it. I didn't even look around. I just drove. I stayed at a motel 2 towns away for almost a week. No one knew where I was. Not my family, not my friends, not even my job. For the first time in months, I slept. I thought maybe I had finally escaped. Then I walked into my motel room one evening and saw the lamp beside the bed was turned on. I knew I had turned it off. I knew because I was the kind of person who checked things 3 times before leaving anywhere. My suitcase was unzipped. My clothes had been folded differently. Nothing was missing. Nothing was damaged. Just moved. A message without words. I packed my things immediately. When I reached for my purse, something fell out. A photograph. A Polaroid. My hand started shaking before I even turned it over, because I already knew what it was going to show. It was a picture of me sleeping in that motel room, taken from the corner near the bathroom door, the place where someone would have to be standing to take it. I left that motel without looking back. I drove all night. When I finally got home, I didn't call the sheriff. I didn't call anyone. I just sat in my car and stared at my house. Because for the first time, I understood. This wasn't someone trying to scare me away. They didn't want me gone. They wanted me afraid. They wanted me to know they could reach me anywhere. The next morning, I decided I was going to search the property myself. I went behind the house, deeper into the woods than I had ever gone. And that's when I found it. An old hunting blind hidden beneath the trees, except it wasn't a hunting blind, not anymore. Inside was a chair, a blanket, empty food containers, candles, and a wall covered in photographs, hundreds of them, pictures of my house, my car, my yard, me. Some were recent, some were years old, and then I saw something that made my blood run cold. A picture of me standing in front of my house the day I moved in. 3 years before the first flower ever appeared on my porch. I ran. I didn't stop until I reached the house. I grabbed my phone. I thought about calling the sheriff. But then I looked at the pictures again. The person who had been watching me had been doing it for years, and they had never been caught. I realized something. Calling for help wasn't going to make them stop. It was only going to tell them I was still scared. Tonight, I'm leaving. I don't know where I'm going yet. I don't know who I can trust, but I know one thing. Whoever has been watching me knows I found the room in the woods, and for the first time in 3 years, they left me a message. It wasn't written down. It wasn't a photograph. It was carved into the old wooden chair inside that blind. 3 words. Don't leave me. Lock your doors, and I'll meet you back in the pines.